Billionaire Carlos. Billionaires in the making. You first become a billionaire, first in the mind, or a millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire, first in the mind, and then you become, obviously, the quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, but also the quality of what you say, what you do. When you align your thoughts with your words, with your actions, now also you gotta be results driven. Efforts don't count. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm gonna try." No. I don't try. Results driven. Efforts don't count. Not even my efforts count. So everything I do in my life, I basically demand the results. So as a vision driven leader, I start with end in mind, then reverse engineer, right, to letter A. So I go from Z back to letter A. Then I break it down into actionable steps every single day with an obsession to get towards my goals. So man lie, woman lie, numbers don't lie. Be, do, have. Be is your identity. Do is the execution, the map, the massive action plan, right? Because an idiot with a plan can beat a genius with no plan, right? And then the have is your rewards. Big risk, big rewards. I'm all about taking big risk. I don't say no risk, no rewards. I say big risk, big rewards. We get paid in direct proportion to the difficulties of the problems we solve. So, in our organization, we're solving many problems, but the biggest problem in the world is a mindset. Your mindset separates the best from the rest. A lot of talented people, but their mind ain't right. They don't have the right state of mind. So, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. To become a millionaire, it's all numbers. To become a billionaire, it's all numbers. $1 million, you first gotta know how many digits is 1000, comma 000. It has 6 zeros and then a 1, right? So anything you make over 7 figures, that's in the millions of dollars. 8 figures, in the multi-million dollars. 9 figures, you already know what it is, right? So, an idea is just a dream without execution. We can close the distance between an idea and money as a vision-driven leader. Most people, they're not visionary. People perish because of lack of vision. Proverbs 29:18. And most people lack knowledge. Hosea 4:6. What you don't know is keeping you poor. In my case, there's one thing I know, I don't know anything. But one thing I always knew is tell me who you're with, and I'm going to tell you who you are and where you're going. I'm with God. I'm with myself. So automatically, if I take care of God, my spiritual, if I take care of my inner world, myself, I'll take care of my mindset, mentally, I'll take care of my physical, physically, I'll take care of my emotions, emotionally, and I'll take care of my finance. We're all here to serve. He or she that does not live to serve doesn't deserve living. So if I'm taking care of my 5 pillars, I'm going to automatically succeed in life. How I see life. That's my secret to my success. My voice. But what can we do? Starting my day, Kaizen 1% better, working out, be, do, have, map, vision-driven leader, set goals for the day, and plan to work accordingly. An hour of deep work, solo in my office, meditate, time management, reading, personal development, writing, journaling, using ChatGPT as my thinking partner. An idiot with a plan can beat a genius with no plan. Massive action plan for the day. 3 simple steps. Start doing what's necessary. Priority 1, do what's possible. Priority 2, finish with the impossible. How do I define a vision-driven leader? Simple. First of all, people perish because of lack of vision, right? Automatically, when a man or a woman, a human, has a vision, to me, they have an end goal. You got me? They already know where they want to head, where they want to go. So, any person that is willing to go into the unknown and sees things others don't see, any person labeled crazy, that to me is a vision-driven leader. There's 4 levels of creating value. Imagination is the highest form of value creation, simply because people perish because lack of vision, right? Faith over fear. Most people are in fear zone. The devil uses the fear. God uses faith. So when you have God, you walk by faith. When you have the devil, you walk by fear. When God gives you a vision, he's not telling you to check your bank account. He's telling you to check your faith account, right? So the imagination is the highest form of value creation. Why? There's implementation, there's unification, there's communication, there's imagination. It's hard to see things that are not in the physical world. It is easy to walk by fear, but it's harder to walk by faith, to see what nobody's seeing. So that's why it's harder. One mindset shift, the mindset shift that is required to scale our business. No, dame. Okay, balsamic vinegar, perfect. Me puede cobrar de una vez, bro. ¿Tú vas a querer algo más? Cambio en trabajo. Gracias. See, we keep it simple, the food. A salad with grilled chicken. I also add some balsamic vinegar. Perfect portion. The portion. No, 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 no. Ya lo puedes llevar. ¿Tú terminaste? Pues sí, vision driven. One mindset shift. Simple. First of all, he or she that says they can, they can. He or she that says they can, they can. So you gotta be obsessed. You gotta shift from I'm gonna try to scale the business to I'm gonna make it work regardless. There's no plan B, it's plan A. How do entrepreneurs shift? Simple. An idiot with a plan can beat a genius with no plan. You gotta take massive action on the plan. But You have to be willing to. So what was the question again? As soon as soon as they get the idea, they gotta execute on it. They gotta put it to work right away. What I do, I turn my ideas into a business. But I also write my whole vision right away. You hear me? Because clarity is power. Let's see real quick. Vamos a comer rápido. $20. Tú te pones creativa. Podemos ir a diferentes lugares para crear contenido. Hey, gracias. But see, life is easy. People just complicate it. Quiero comer saludable también. Why eating healthy is extremely important. When you eat healthy, something happens. You fuel your body with with the right nutrients. So you're gonna have more energy. You're gonna feel better. You're gonna look better. We go to the gym every day. A lot of people go to the gym every day, but it's just not going to the gym. 80% is your nutrition. 20% is your physical activity, keeping yourself active, moving around, if it makes sense. But I've noticed something about people in general, including myself. When we eat, when we're hungry, we tend to eat with our eyes, not look at food like energy. We look at food like, wow, I want to eat that. I'm craving that. I want that. I've noticed something about life, and it's just not about food. It's about anything in life. When you need money, you don't go and get the money when you need it. You get the money when you don't need it. when you need a significant other, it applies to the same thing. That's why I always had a woman all my life, because I never waited for me to not have one. It sounds messed up, but as a man, remember we're born valueless. Not valueless, but with a bottle empty. We don't have the value that women have. So as a man, when you get your shit together, self-love, self-care, self-investment, you got me, happiness, inner peace, independence, time management, you end up organizing your life in a way where you live in abundance, not in scarcity. So, Carlos, but you started talking about food, now you're talking about personal. Everything affects everything. How you feel is gonna be based on what you eat. And based on what you eat is how you're gonna be able to make decisions. And remember, the number one decision you make is your significant other. So if you're here drinking alcohol, bad habits, eating shitty food, you're gonna attract a shitty partner, because your significant other is gonna wanna eat shitty food as well. Remember, you attract what you are. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So if you want your dream body, start eating healthy. I tell myself that every single day. Success, the rent is due every day. Your dream body, the rent is due every day. Your significant other, your dream significant other, the rent is due every day. Two-way street. Business, the rent is due every day. Everything in life you do, if you want to be successful at anything, the rent is due every day. Dreams don't work unless you work. So you got to put in the work every day. See, we love eating out, going to restaurants. When you go to different restaurants, something happens. When it's your first time in that restaurant, you tend to want to get their signature dish, or you start craving the desserts. The Carlos of the world. Oh, they got a tres leche. I've never tried. Well, Carlos, you ate a tres leche from somewhere else. Yeah, but I didn't try it from this place. It's the same thing with women. I'm like, why? Every time I used to see, when I was younger, a different baddie, I wanted that. Then I get her, I'm like, shit, I didn't want her. Then I go and get another one. Oh, I got her. Then I didn't want her. Then I go and get another one. I want her. But then I don't want her. So I learned in life something very... Look, 3 phones. Why 3 phones? Why? Why 3 phones? One personal, one business, and then one for the side woman. That was my mindset before. I had hidden phones. There was a time that I had like 6 phones. Oh no, but it's only $10 extra a month. That $10, I'm like, I'm gonna have this phone just to talk to this girl, because I have a house with this girl. So that phone is the phone I take to that house. But that lifestyle, it's too much. It's too much maintenance. It's easier, just one phone, this, that. Nah, just kidding. I did had a lot of phones, but my type of personality, I didn't give a F. My same password. Like, I used to tell people, you check it, you're gonna find something. Now, in this stage of my life, if they try to check, they're not gonna find anything. I don't even text a woman back. Even before, we're just creating content, lo que me sale de la mente. You become what you think all day. What does that mean? The minute you open your mouth is what you have inside your inner world. So when you guys hear people like me talk about women, this, that, I didn't have women in my mind, right? because I always have business in my mind. But business first, pleasure second. When you become valuable as a man, you forget about the woman. Focus on your purpose, your mission, your vision. The minute you focus on that, everything else just is gonna come to you. I know I forgot something. Water. What is the role of communication when scaling a business? Everything. As a vision-driven leader, your ability to communicate the vision is gonna be the determining factor between your vision succeeding or failing, a flop or a success. And I'm gonna tell you why. When you have good, when you have strong communication skills, something happens. You're able to articulate a message very different from the way most people transmit that message. Because you're able to now break it down into detail, and you're gonna be able to break it down depending who you're speaking to. As a vision-driven leader, the way you communicate the vision to the leaders, to the team, to the investors, to the suppliers is totally different. How you speak to the employees is totally different. How you speak to the investors, how you speak to your significant other. I've noticed a lot of men, God gives them a vision, or God blesses them with a mentor, coach, a person that is already in the level they want to be at. But then they let their significant other influence them due to them not being able to transmit, communicate the vision the right way to them. So as a man, I make my decisions. God first, then myself. I don't go to my significant other and be like, babe, can I make this business investment? She's not gonna know anything about that. That's not her field. That's not her strength. She's not specialized in that. She's probably not an investor. And there's levels to investors. Then there's niche, there's areas, different type of investment vehicles. So, in another word, big risk, big rewards. So learn how to communicate, learn how to articulate your vision, your mission, your vision, your purpose, and you're gonna succeed. Tener cotorra, hasta con las mujeres. Shh. An operator is working inside the business. An investor is working on the business, creating more opportunities for the people that are operating their business. So let's say, for example, you open up a store, right? At first, you start as an operator. You gotta wear all hats. But if you're smart, you could start as an investor, how I've done it. You say, who could I basically partner up with that could run the business, run the day-to-day operation? You gotta work smart, not hard. So automatically, that positions you as an investor, but it positions them as a business owner. You see, everybody wins. So now you tell that person, your goal is to basically, whoever's your right-hand man or right-hand woman in the business, the Michael Jordan inside the organization, tell them, train them, lead by example first of all, so you could put them in a position so they could run that store. So now, as a leader, you want to create leaders that create leaders that create leaders. And that's the secret. As an investor, money, you got to put it to work. And as an investor, let me tell you a secret. It doesn't have to be your money. It could be the bank's money. You could leverage credit. You could leverage other people's money. When it comes to relationship, you could leverage overall, if it makes sense. You could even leverage employees, because you could basically partner up with somebody, give them equity inside the organization. so they could be an operator. They're still running the show. When I build businesses, I like giving equity to all the key players. So that builds loyalty, because now it puts them in a position to see the business like it's theirs, because in reality, it is theirs as well. When you work in your business, when you work in your business, you're doing obviously the day-to-day. When it comes to maybe you're doing sales, you're doing marketing, you're doing administrative work, you're doing systems and process, what most business owner working inside the business never do. That's why they're working inside the business. You're here solving problems inside the business. You get me? When you're working on the business, you're looking for opportunities. Where can I open another location? But to duplicate my systems and process. Remember, business, you gotta have systems, process, and people. When you could duplicate the systems and process and the people, all you gotta do is look for a location where your target audience is gonna be at, right? And just duplicate, rinse and repeat. That's when you're working on. You repeat the process again and again. That's how by 17 I was able to have 5 stores, because I was doing that. Excellent question. High value opportunities in real estate. Let's start real estate. Because real estate, business without real estate, there's no business. To run a business, you got to run it in some type of real estate. It could be your home, or it could be a actual commercial real estate. So, how you identify an opportunity overall? Opportunities are like sunrises. If you wait too long, you'll miss them. Most people never become wealthy because they fail to recognize opportunity is right in front of them. Opportunities are all over the place. As a vision-driven leader, I create opportunities, not simply for myself, but for other people. You know how? Simple. Everything is an opportunity. Everything. How you identify an opportunity? Simple. Figure where you could add value that other people are not seeing the value on it, if it makes sense. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Double pay, easy pass. Going back, I'm gonna tell you what's an opportunity to me. First of all, that's what I do for a living. I create business and real estate opportunities that help build my network and income, passive income, while everyone else is trained to look for work. So, how do I identify opportunities? God, vision, an idea. We can close the distance. I can close the distance between an idea and money. So, when it comes to real estate, look for ugly houses. Look for ugly commercial properties where you see potential, where if they rehab it, restore it, in another word, right? You're able to make something ugly look better. Everything to me is an opportunity. You, the person watching this, to me, you're an opportunity. Because the number one asset that I've invested has been on myself. But the second best investment anybody could make, apart from attention, creating content, is on other people. Opportunities are all over the place. When I'm here walking, could be in the mall, I see an opportunity, I don't wait for it. I go and jump on it. That's why my personal level has always been lovey-dovey for me. Because if I saw a girl that I liked, I didn't wait for her to tell me she likes me. Women, even when they like you, they'll tell you they don't like you because they don't even know what the fuck they like. Same thing in business, right? So going back into the personal, if you see a beautiful woman, while you're here waiting, you got me overthinking. Does she like me? Should I go talk to her? I don't give a I'll go talk to her. What's the worst thing that could happen? The answer no. No means next option, next opportunity. So in another word, guys, you know what you gotta be doing? Stop overthinking. You gotta be taking massive action. Anytime you see an opportunity, jump on it. It doesn't matter if you fail. At least you tried. The worst thing that could happen, see, I don't want to have regrets. That's why I take opportunities. See, I could have my girl, but that doesn't make just because I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. That is not a secret. I said this a billion times on all my podcasts and everywhere. I've always had a significant other. I don't know what the word single means. I was never in a position to be like, do you want to be my girlfriend? But I always had always had food in my table. Abundant. Straight up. But as a man, you want to socialize. And you never want to basically put you in a position where you are with one woman and you lost your touch of connecting with women. Because women are different. They're always going to have that touch, not us. A woman that is too accessible, too talkative, and talks to all the mans, she loses value. But a man that women come to him and want to talk to him, he's high value. You get me? Now, in this stage of my life, I keep that line with women. Porque si no me vuelvo loco. Me vuelvo loco. Because I'm a magnet. Like this. You see this mic? With this magnet, look. This is me in this stage of my life when it comes to women. Magnet, you see? Doesn't touch. It repels, right? But if you connect it, look, it connects if I switch it around. So, making a long story short, I decided to just stay with one woman. Because that lifestyle, I was doing it for a lot of years. You could say, if I'm 34, I could say I have more than 3 decades. Yeah, Carlos, that's crazy, 3 decades. Just kidding. 2 decades. Because I started when I was 12. So subtract, 2 decades. Being a whore, a male whore, if it makes sense. See, when a man attracts a lot of women, he's a pimp. No, I'm not a whore, I'm a pimp. When a woman attracts a lot of men, she's a whore. See the difference? That's why, don't question me why life is like that. I was not the one that designed it. Life is easy. So how you make it? Oh, the Black Range. Oh, the G63. What systems a business should have before scaling? Simple. The systems that a business is supposed to have before scaling is business is gonna grow how the leaders grow. So if the leaders grow, he could literally scale without being ready. So there's no such thing as you gotta be ready to keep scaling. A lot of people be like, when they start a business, oh, I'm gonna give that business 3 months. If you give it 3 months, it's gonna take 3 months. If you give it 3 years, it's going to take 3 years. When it comes to scaling, you got to be an opportunist. When the opportunity comes, I don't go by when it comes. I go and create it. You could force an opportunity. You could force to create an opportunity. So, for me, every time I want to scale, all I got to do is look for another person that I could put in a position of leadership so they could run a pack, so they could run a group. That's how you scale. Who, not how. When you find your who, the how becomes easy. Because your how can take care of systems and process. With all that said, we're going to continue the video while eating. Es mentira que we're creating content. Business doesn't take care of you. So, with all that said, you got to make sure that every time you take care of business, you got to remember that the business is yourself. You got to take care of mindset, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. Let's record. Now, we're gonna make it a journey. All the restaurants, every day. Damn, smells like weed. Fuck. We're gonna make it a habit to record every single day in a different restaurant. Lifestyle, baby. Gotta open the door. Pull. That's why we gotta read. Keeping it healthy, always. Why you gotta keep it healthy? Health is wealth. Get a salad. We got the classic Caesar. Romaine lettuce, shaved Parmesan, smashed garlic butter, croutons with grilled chicken. Caesar salad. Classic Caesar. Hello.
Have you been here before?
Yes.
So everything that you need a few more minutes or
I already know what I want.
Okay.
I want the classic Caesar.
Caesar salad?
Yeah.
Full size or the half size?
The full size.
You want to add some chicken, shrimp?
The chicken on the side.
Okay.
Grilled chicken.
Okay. Anything to drink?
Not yet for drink, no. Bring me lemon on the side. And limón.
Okay. So, ¿limón para qué?
Para la ensalada. ¿No te olvides? Me voy a quedar con un menú.
Okay. So, ¿quiere este primero?
Sí.
Okay. So, nada para compartir.
Going back. How do I transition from what? Okay, how you transition from a solopreneur to building a team? Simple. First of all, you gotta understand something. You cannot do everything yourself, right? So you wanna delegate, you wanna outsource, you wanna basically empower others. If you could do the work, they could do it as well. And teamwork makes the dream work. So a team consists of different people with different qualities, different skill sets, right? Different talents to be able to accomplish a goal, an end goal. Make sense? So everything starts in the mind. You gotta shift your mindset from solopreneur to, vision-driven leader to I need a team. Let the team handle it while I focus on the vision. What are the key What are the key factors of turning a business into a franchise? Simple. You'll know when you have a franchise when your branding, your systems and process, right? When every time I start a business, I start it like it's gonna be all over the world, global, national. You get me? Not just one location. Where I see a lot of people, starters fail, is their vision is so small, so limited. They don't think in terms of opening multiple locations in different parts. Make sense? How do entrepreneurs, how can they structure their content strategically to attract leads? Being yourself, being authentic, being real, right? Understanding that not everybody is gonna be your customer. That's the first thing you gotta understand. You gotta focus on those that you attract, those that are gonna love your brand, love you, how you are. You know what I mean? Some people, doesn't matter what you give them. They always have, they're always gonna see something on it. Make sense? I'm gonna put in perspective. You eat a Caesar salad from here, it's totally different from Rumba Cubana. Shout out to Rumba Cubana. They should be sponsoring me, sponsoring us. We always eat there, right? Rumba Cubana, one of the best restaurants. Go try Rumba Cubana, guys. Caesar salad. Tell them Carlos sent you. Tag me also. And when you edit this video, collab with them. They'll accept it. You're gonna be like, but you're not in Rumba Cubana right now eating. But I go there every day. What else? The biggest mistake people make when building their personal brand is simple. My mistake is not starting it. That's the biggest mistake. There's no mistake as long as you fail forward. The biggest mistake is not starting. Other than that, fail forward. You get me? But the biggest mistake would be not getting a person that already built a personal brand. Who, not how. Find yourself somebody who did it, been there, done that. That's my mistake. How do I position business to attract high net worth clients? Simple. Your business is gonna grow how you grow. So if you position yourself to attract, high net worth people, you attract what you are. Are you high net worth? That's the answer. Your business is gonna attract how the leaders attracts. So as the vision-driven leader, since I'm high net worth, I was able to attract high net worth individuals. Shout out to my business partner, Alex. You see? Creating content, guys. Let me tell you guys a secret. Life is easy, but some people complicate it. You know why? I'm gonna tell you why. They decided to complicate it. Simple.
Sorry. Do you guys need the strawberry cooler?
No, I didn't want.
Sorry.
Chicken milanesa. How is AI reshaping business, leadership? Overall, you don't gotta think. You could use AI as a thinking partner. Understand? You could tell AI, hey, I don't have a vision. Ask me the question so I can find my purpose. my vision, my mission. What ideas can I start and turn them into a business? It's just a matter of asking AI questions. Tell AI I'm lost. I want to find myself. You got me? I want to become a leader. Simple. What separates, okay, operational managers are normally managing the inside of the business, dealing with the employees, dealing with the customers, dealing with the suppliers, dealing with the inside of the business, right? Vision-driven leaders, right? They're operating from the outside. They're dealing with the investors, right? They're dealing with the more difficult things, solving more difficult problems for the organization. Make sense?
Yeah.
They're raising capital, etc. How do I what? Simple. I make sure I make my decisions based on logic, based on the vision, not my emotions. So when you make decisions based on your vision, you're gonna fail forward. You're gonna push forward. Doesn't matter the adversity, the challenges that come in. Businesses, you get knocked out, you gotta get back up. Business is not for the weak. It's only for the strong. And the strongs are the ones that survive and excel and prosper. How do I what? Excellent question. Your business, you gotta design it where there's areas that you do get paid instant, but you also gotta focus in the long term, the bigger pie. For example, as a vision-driven leader, I'd rather have equity, right, than settle for a little commission or a little pay or a little profit, if it makes sense. What do what? What role does purpose play in building a profitable business? To me, suitable business, to me, what role does purpose play? To me, purpose is everything. Because if you don't have a purpose, you're gonna get sidetracked with the little things. Food came in. Thank you.
I'll bring you some plates.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Bring me extra Caesar dressing
Yeah.
and barbecue sauce.
I got it.
Sorry, we're not sorry. Si Justin Bieber es pa, no es problema mío. Justin Bieber es el ejemplo perfecto. Not talking bad about people. Of a talented individual. Hello? Yes? Yes, speaking?
A few moments later.
La cuenta ya.
Ok, entonces le canceló el pollo.
Pero el pollo estaba supuesto a venir hace tiempo, pero
Yo lo ordené, pero lo siento, yo le acabo de preguntar al manager.
no, ya, me olvidé
Ok,
el pollo.
déjame ya le digo.
Pero, no. El pollo no lo ponga, pero ¿qué tú vas a querer? Dime. Dame un minutico para ver si ordeno algo más. Tú ves, ya quería echarle la culpa a la gente. Todo el mundo, the number one reason why people fail is because they don't assume responsibility for everything. They're not responsible for their actions. Esa muerte en un servicio. ¿La cuenta? No, pero no creo. Thank you. Grateful, thankful. Thankful with everybody in this world. Beyond grateful and thankful. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you. I'm thankful with everybody. A through Z. From the bottom of my heart. An attitude of gratitude. That's the topic right now. Why you gotta be grateful and thankful? With everyone. Every day. Especially with God. The more you are grateful for what you have, it doesn't matter what type of experience they gave you. What do you learn from it? Are you gonna let your heart become dark for what others people did to themselves? Because if you really think about it, people don't do things to you. People hurt themselves. Hurt people, that's what they have inside. Hurt. So what do you think they're gonna give? They're gonna try to hurt others. They're gonna try to bring others to their frequency, to their vibration. But as a blessed, thankful, grateful individual with a lot of love, not by words, but by actions and by the fruit, judge a tree by the fruit it bears. So, why we gotta be grateful? Why am I thankful, grateful? When you count your blessings, instead of counting your problems, you're gonna get more blessings. But when you count your problems, you're gonna get more problems. The mind is a magnet. You think in negative terms, you attract negative. But if you think in positive terms, you attract positive. We're beyond blessed. We don't say it. The fruit of our labor says it. We don't say we're happy. Happiness is not simply words. It's not simply a smile. It's not simply, not even a thought. To me, happiness is a decision to be happy no matter what happens. What leadership qualities?
Are most
Oh, okay. Are most important? Excellent question. To me, the leadership qualities that are the most important in the AI era goes back to the root. That is not only the AI era. All eras is to lead by example. But in the era that we're at right now, where artificial intelligence helps us make our life easier, but it's gonna make other people's life also more difficult. Because now, some people are not gonna think. And remember, John D. Rockefeller wanted a world full of workers, not thinkers. When I was in school, just to give you guys a story, I used to make sure that even though there were calculators, I made sure that I learned how to do math, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, not pre-algebra, not geometry, even though I did it, passed it. But I made sure to learn math and not depend on a calculator. AI, artificial intelligence, is excellent to have, and we gotta use it. We could leverage it, but we also gotta understand that you cannot just let artificial intelligence be your ultimate thinker, because your ultimate thinker is God. So the vision, your calling, comes from God, not from artificial intelligence. So the quality that leaders are supposed to have is thinking skills. Most people rather die than to think. And now with our artificial intelligence, they'll say, oh, I got artificial intelligence. I got ChatGPT. Nope. ChatGPT is only as smart as the person using it. Nothing else. ChatGPT could give you all the information in the world. And if you don't execute, you're not going to get anything. To become a millionaire, multi-millionaire, billionaire, all the information is there. You can literally ask ChatGPT right now, how can I become a billionaire? And it'll tell you. But you see, I didn't need ChatGPT for my billionaire vision. I been knew I was going to become a billionaire. I'm in the process, the journey. Well, how you do one thing is how you do everything. I became a millionaire. Es mentira. I became a multimillionaire. Es mentira. So, making $1 billion, it's only 1,000 million. Easy. Whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe, guess what? It can achieve. So, aim big, think big, dream big. They gotta want it. They gotta be willing to share their blessing back with others. So I could create a leader, but that leader has to be willing to share his wisdom, his knowledge with somebody else to make him more valuable in the marketplace. Remember, there's 4 levels of value creation: implementation, unification, communication, imagination. I operate in the imagination. As you guys can see, notice how I communicate. Unification, I wouldn't be in the level I'm at if I wouldn't be an influential person. No sé si me entiende. So, moving forward, leadership is a decision. To lead by example, to become your best version. Nobody's going to follow you. Because if you're not able to inspire yourself, motivate yourself. Leadership starts first by you leading yourself. If you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead others. I have an eye for talent, or for people in general. Okay, if you give yourself 5 years to accomplish something, it's gonna take you 5 years. My goals, I don't set deadlines. You know, I do see certain things a year from now, 5 years from now, but I'm more interested in how can that thing that takes people 5 years, how can I do it in 5 hours, 5 days, 50 days? 50 days is a month and 20 days. I'd rather look at life like that, you hear me, than give myself the 5 years for a goal. If you tell yourself you're going to be a billionaire in 5 years, it's going to take you 5 years to become a billionaire. If you tell yourself you want to become a billionaire today, it's a decision. First, you need an idea. If you could literally come up with $1 billion idea, you could become a billionaire right now. That's how it is. Everything starts with an idea. Then you raise capital, raise money. We don't do business to get money. We get money to do business. The system of taking care of your mindset. Remember, I told you guys earlier that scaling a business, it will only scale as much as the leader scales. If the leader is not scaling, the business will not go nowhere. It will fall to the level of the habits and the mindset of the leader or the vision-driven leader. There's people that have a vision, but their vision is too small. There's people that have a vision, to start a business. But there's levels to the business, to the game of business. There's people that could barely take care of themselves. Imagine taking care of a business. Now you understand? It's like a car. Some people cannot even maintain one car. How can they maintain two? It's like a woman. Some people cannot even get one. Imagine getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See why the rich get richer and poor people get poorer? Money goes where money is at. Women go where men in abundance are at. If you're in scarcity as a man, you repel the woman. If you're in abundance, you walk different because you don't move with that thirsty energy. See, men that do not attract women, that chase them, they send out that energy. When you study Carlos, because the sense leaves clues, you start moving different. And when you start moving different, you start attracting different. I'm the king of attraction. As a matter of fact, I always say I'm one of the most valuable men alive, but I'm one of the most attractive men alive too. So a lot of people think attraction is only one area. Attraction is composed of a billion different small little areas. When you add them all up together, you could surpass anybody. By building the leader that's gonna run it. You build the people build the business. To take a business first, let me break it down from baby steps. To take it from an idea to your first sale, you need somebody that can sell a product or a service, right? In my case, I don't have to sell the product or service. I'll sell the vision, the idea. And it'll scale to the 7, 8, 9, 10 figure. But to take a business from, let's say, 0 to your first 10,000, right? All it requires is, apart from a high ticket offer, meaning you gotta have a high service. When you go close the distance between an idea and money, that's how you make things successful. But when it comes to the team, once again, it all lands in the people. So there's levels. I'm the CVO, Chief Vision Officer. I work outside. Then there's the CEO. The CEO will work with the C-suite, CFO, Chief Financial Officer, COO, Chief Operating Officer, with the executive assistant, etc. The whole team. Then that's the corporate level. Then there's the managers of the business, general managers, they take care of the whole operation. And then there's the people under them. When you elevate your people elevate the business. Carlos quote, CMR. Accepting money from the wrong partner, investor. You gotta know who to do business with. The right partners align with the vision will scale the business. The wrong partner, just simply transactional, will destroy the business. When it's a business like AR Brothers, when the business is dependent on, obviously, people to take care of the service, when it comes to, for example, AR Brother, right? P, block the name of the business. Let's say a car tint wrap business. It can only scale to the level of, obviously, the owner, but certain business to the level of the location too, if it makes sense. So opening more locations in reality is not more money, because it's better quality than quantity. What's the point of opening little shops when that type of business requires more square footage? Simple. You have the right leader in place. You put the right leader, and the right leader with the right team, he's going to be able to organize the company culture by leading by example. So the minute he's leading by example, has strong core values, the business is going to be able to scale and have peace of mind overall. The employees are going to be able to work in peace and harmony.